And all of you who are watching online, you might as well type something in about the brilliance that you just felt as we are in a field of love and beauty and intelligence. Everything vibrates with a field. We all emanate a field, a number of feet extending beyond our body temple. In this moment, because you are hanging with high and holy people, and I don't mean pious religious people, I'm talking about people who are on the edge of discovery of who and what they really are spiritually, and through spiritual osmosis in this dynamic field of love, beauty, and intelligence, you are becoming a better version of yourself. You're not adding anything to yourself. This is what the master teacher said, who by taking thought can add 1 cubit to their stature. You're not adding anything to yourself. You're already a unique expression of infinite potential. You're simply uncovering it, motating with it. That's a word I created many years ago. Vibrating with it, so that through this spiritual osmosis, you become more and more and more who and what you really are. You don't have to add anything. You just have to reveal that which you are, that which emerged from the eternal, from the spiritual, from that which is forever. Thus, as we move and continue to move into the theme of the month, which has been the art of letting go, you have become aware that you are one, letting go of everything that no longer serves you, so that you can release the weight of that which doesn't serve you, so that you can fly and flow in the realm of ever-expanding good, anchor the realm of ever-expanding good on earth. Ever-expanding good means heaven. That's what the word means, ever-expanding good. You can bring ever-expanding good to earth, so you're not waiting around, living on the layaway plan, thinking you're going to get to heaven in the future. He said the kingdom of heaven's at hand now. It's a state of consciousness, you see? And so you're letting go. What are you letting go? You're letting go of that which no longer serves you. The over-identification with temporary identities. In other words, your temporary identities, your transitory identities are what I call lampshades. You know the color of your skin, whether you are a male or a female, straight or gay or trans or whatever it is you identify yourself, that is a beautiful lampshade. That's an expression of the uniqueness, of the infinitude of the presence of God, but it's temporary. Who you really are is a luminous expression of infinite potential, you see? And you are to allow that light to shine through those lampshades, so that you're not over-identifying with the lampshade, but you're definitely saying, I'm all right with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. My lampshade is cool. I appreciate being a black man. I appreciate being a white woman. I appreciate being straight. I appreciate being gay. I appreciate being trans. I appreciate being fluid. I appreciate whatever it is that you have discovered about yourself is wonderful lampshade for the luminous to shine through you. So when you hear that you are the light that lights up every individual that comes to the planet, you are light itself. Say, I am luminous. I am light itself. I'm going to let my light shine. That individual will see and hear and feel the presence of God. You can say that. I'll repeat it. I'm going to let my light shine, that so-called others may feel and see and hear the presence of God. So we're letting go not of the temporary identities, we're letting go of the over-identification with it. Because if you're too identified with it, you'll get easily offended if someone doesn't recognize you that way. And we don't want to take offense, because taking offense is as negative as giving offense. When you understand who you are, you don't take offense. You let your light shine. You glow. You shine. You see? And so we're letting go of that which no longer serves us, but we're also letting go to the divine. That's called surrender. We're yielding to the greatness that's within us. We're yielding to the beauty, the intelligence. You may come to an understanding that there's way more to you than the labels that have been placed upon you, an IQ test, an EQ test, and all the tests that you take. There's one thing that those tests cannot show, and that's your potential. You see? And so you are coming to an understanding that regardless of how you have been labeled in this society by going through a miseducational system, no one can determine your potential but you. Your potential is infinite. And when you begin to do the inner work necessary, the affirmative prayer, the activated affirmative prayer, the sacred meditation, the life visioning, hanging out with high and holy people, not pious, hanging out with high and holy people that are celebrating the cosmos, celebrating their oneness with the presence of God, celebrating their oneness with all of humanity, celebrating their oneness with life, with Mother Earth, celebrating their oneness with the entire cosmos. When you're hanging out in that vibration, your potential gets activated, and you will make a declaration and a decree that you're not going to leave this planet, leaving your potential on the sideline. You are not a bystander. You are a participant in the realm of ever-expanding good. As you've heard me say over the years, you are not an anticipant, you are a participant. Meaning you're not here waiting for something to happen. You are here participating in that which is already happening, which is the presence being itself, and the presence wants to be itself as your very life and being. And so we say, let go and let God. Let go and let love. Let go and let beauty. Let go and let joy. And I know there has to be a level of vulnerability for surrender because we have coping mechanisms, defense mechanisms, compulsive behaviors, protecting ourselves from the things that have happened in our life in which we were not vibrationally big enough to handle, so we develop certain personality constructs to make it through this particular world. But at some point, through your inner exploration of who and what you really are, you discover that your potential is bigger than any problem. You discover that your potential is bigger than any trauma. You discover that your potential and the presence of God within you is bigger than anything that appeared to happen to you. And then you will let go, you will let God, and you will unravel the story of being a victim, and you will discover the lies that you've been telling yourself, not good enough, not worthy, nobody likes you, etc., etc., etc. And even if they don't, who cares? Listen. One of the greatest affirmations you can ever give is, so what? Oh, that's a great affirmation. That's a great affirmation. It ties right into the topic, which is the miracle perspective. No judgment. The miracle perspective. No judgment. In other words, and I'm going to come back to that point of so what in a second, I think. Let me remember. Let me put a little pin to that. Listen, the miracle perspective is this. There's miracles happening everywhere. Your life is a gift. It's a miracle that you even exist at all. Your whole life has emerged from the eternal as a unique expression of infinite possibility. And so when you expand your awareness, there is a perspective that's beyond judgment that allows for the miraculous, that which is real, that which is eternal, to begin to operate through you. Now, it's always happening, but like love and peace and joy and wisdom and harmony, they are everywhere except where it's being suppressed by limited perception. And so the miracle perspective is saying in substance that a miracle is an instant or incremental demonstration of what's already happening, but we're expanding our awareness so it can happen through us. No judgment. Judge not according to appearances, but judge righteous judgment. Why? Because judgment shrinks your perception to the vibration of what you're judging. So you end up living in the frequency of what you're judging, even if you think you're right. You're living in that frequency. So you judge not. According to appearances, you judge righteously, which means God is there. Love is there. Peace is there. Harmony is there. And you might say, well, you know, people are talking about me. They're judging me. Now you say, so what? You see? Because when you say, so what? As an affirmation, and you perhaps say, that perspective is interesting. You're not fighting it. You're not resisting it. You're not getting down in the frequency of the judgment. You're just saying, that's an interesting perspective. It's not my perspective. It may not even be true. But I'm uninterested in it. So what? Now, this is where so what leaves you. When you use the affirmation, so what? It leads you into the awareness of what's so. What is so is the presence is everywhere. You hang out in what's so. When your prayer, that leads you to so. You see? So you go from so what to what so to so. You live in a different frequency. And so be aware, as quantum physics tells us, that the objective world does not exist without an observer. If, in fact, you eliminate judgment, then when you realize that what you're looking for, you're looking with, when you eliminate judgment, you begin to see a different world. You begin to live in a different world. This is what is meant by the brown Palestinian known as Jesus the Christ, Yeshua ben Joseph, when he said there'll be trials and tribulations in that world. I know it. But then he said, be of good cheer because I've overcome that world. He rose to a non-judgmental point of view so that the world as it really is. Remember, The Matrix was a documentary. He rose to the frequency of being outside of the matrix so he could see that the presence and the power and the love of God is everywhere for those who can see it, those that can proclaim it, declare it, decree it, vibrate with it, raise their frequency with the awareness that your frequency is your currency, is what you spend with. Your frequency is your currency. You would create a whole nother world. And because the world can't exist without an observer, you begin to look for the beauty and the love and the joy that is everywhere. So oftentimes we will unconsciously or even consciously look for the craziness in this world. And you don't have to look far. You look for all the stuff that's not working in the world. And as you look at it, and then as you judge it, you start to keep it alive by your judgment, and you keep it alive through your resisting it, through your hating it, through your fighting against it, or avoiding it. You're keeping it alive. And so you're shrinking your perception and living in judgment. You're living in the frequency of judgment. The miracle perspective is no judgment. This is what Rumi meant. And of course, when he talks about there is a field beyond right and wrong, I'll meet you there. In other words, it's a field that's beyond judgment so that you can judge righteously. You can see the presence and the power and the love of God that is everywhere. So what must we do? What must we do, Reverend Susie? You know what we must do. We must share our miracle stories as a habit. I know you've shared some complaints this week. You've shared some stuff. But how many miracles have you shared this week? How many blessings have you shared this week? How many coincidences have you shared this week? How much have you shared this week where you said, oh my God, I thought that this X, Y, and Z bad thing was about to happen, but I got there and it wasn't as bad as I thought. It didn't turn out as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was in all that traffic and I still arrived on time. Whatever the case may be. You know, how many miracles did you share? If, in fact, you begin to build that in, many of you have gratitude journals. That's a good thing. You just want to add to that a miracle journey. How many miracles showed up in your life? And they don't have to be gigantic. They can start off as just small things you begin to notice. But here's the thing. You begin to see what you're looking for. You begin to see what you begin to see it. And then your mind begins to curate itself around what you're looking for. And then you start to have a miracle perspective. You start to walk in the awareness that a miracle is happening now. I'm simply preparing myself for it. I'm a participant in the miraculous flow. Why? Because someone's have to be vibrationally strong enough to be in joy, in peace, and in love during a pandemic, during war, during all the stuff that's happening on the planet. Someone's have to be strong enough to hold the frequency of the world you want to live in. Someone's intending negativity, You can spend all the time in the world judging that intention and then vibrate with that frequency, or you can spend time in the feeling tone of the world you intend to live in. What world are you building? You're building it based on your intention, based on your perception, based on where the energy is flowing. And so what we would say to all of our magnificent brothers and sisters whose dharma is to be activists in the world, we would only say this: we want you to be activists, but we want you to be pulled by a vision of possibility. We don't want you to get burnt out by being against everything that doesn't work. We want you to so build vibrationally the world you want to live in, that as Buckminster Fuller reminds us, that if you build that energetic vibration of the world you want to live in, the old world will collapse because of a lack of attention. You see, there is something trying to be born, but someone has to see it. Someone has to feel it. Someone has to vibrate with it. I'll always remember when I was in my sophomore year at Morehouse College, and me and a group of buddies, we had started something called the Harriet Tubman Prison Committee. And we were having rallies and doing a lot of work to make sure that the inmates were getting paid for the work that they were doing for free. We had rallies at City Hall. It was a magnificent thing. And I was working with a number of organizations. And so then subsequently, I moved back to Los Angeles. And I was sitting in a meeting of the wonderful activists. We were going to change the world by any means necessary, you know. And I'm sitting in this meeting, and this voice behind me says, if you were to take over the world tomorrow, would it be any different? So I looked around to see who was behind me, and there was nobody there. So then we continued with the meeting, and then the voice said something. It was within me. If you guys were to take over the world tomorrow, would it be any different? So I looked around the room, and I could see, oh, this guy's kind of territorial. Now, this guy, he always has to be right. This person's very possessive. I could see all the pathology that we were all carrying. And I said, wow, the world wouldn't be any different. So I left the building, left the meeting. I never went back. The very next week, somebody in that meeting shot somebody. They got upset about something, but I wasn't there. The Spirit had removed me from that, so I wasn't a part of the whole legal thing, and I ended up enrolling at USC, psychobiology major. I was going to go to med school, and then I began to have all these inner experiences that ultimately led to my first adult awakening, where I could see that we were surrounded by a presence of love and beauty and intelligence, and that without right seeing, there's no right being. Without right being, there's no right seeing. As thou seest, so thou beest. There has to be a shift in consciousness. And then we're pulled by a vision. So if you're out there and we want to change the prison industrial system, we want to change the politics as it is today, we have to carry the frequency and the vibration of the answer within us. It has to so feed us that we're compelled into right thought, right speech, and to right action. So it's not just judging and fighting what we don't like, because judgment shrinks our perception, and we end up experiencing our perception. We end up continuing to expand our awareness so that we become the carriers of the new frequency. And I tell you what, love and peace and harmony and wholeness are contagious. You don't hear that on the news. They'll tell you about every disease man-made under the sun, but they won't tell you that love and peace and generosity and creativity, that's contagious. You see, love is contagious. Catch that. You see, you felt the contagion when Nikki and Donna were singing. You can walk, and without saying a word, you'll walk into a room, and just your presence will just change the vibration of the room. If you're connected, I'm talking about consciously connected, because we're always connected. We're never neglected nor dejected by a presence that's the same yesterday, today, and forever. But are we consciously connected? So when we hear this, the art of letting go of the lies we've told ourselves, letting go of what people have said about us. If you get caught up in thinking about what other people are thinking about you, that's called hell. Come out of hell. You are not to be concerned about what other people are thinking about and what they're thinking about you and what they're thinking about you, thinking about them. No! You are to rise up and ask the question, how does the universal presence see me? And the universal presence is looking at you through the same eye that you're looking at the presence. This is what Meister Eckhart says. I see God through the same eye that God sees me. And what God sees, if you could see yourself. Oh, it's such light, it's such brilliance, it's such beauty, it's such intelligence. It cannot be measured by an IQ test. It cannot be measured by any man-made test. It is a presence that will allow you to give a testimony to how you have overcome every single thing that have sought to keep you down. Oh my God, can you feel it here? Can you feel it? And so what is your role? Your role, one, in terms of this miracle perspective, is to develop the habit of sharing your miracles. That doesn't mean you run out and tell everybody everything, because people may look at you a little bit weird. And we don't need that right away. Later on. I remember, we go back a number of years ago, I was a weird dude. I lost all my friends. They thought I just freaked out. You know what I mean? Oh, Michael's freaked out on Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He was gone. And now people are coming to see me speak. But back in the, so you don't just go right out and start sharing, but you do have some friends. Yes. You do have some people that are on the path that can hear your miracles, not make fun of them. That can hear your insights, not make fun of them, even if you can't quite articulate them. But something's brooding in your awareness, something about the presence of God being nearer than your hands and feet, closer than your breathing, something about the presence of God being closer than your neck vein, as the Quran would say, closer, everywhere in its fullness. As it states, water can't wet it, fire can't burn it, wind can't blow it, not away. If you name it, you can't find it. If you find it, you can't name it. We're talking about the Bhagavad Gita. It says all of that. So whatever scripture you're reading, it all leads back to the same thing. God is everywhere. Everywhere. It's hiding in plain sight. And God appointed you to represent God according to your uniqueness. This presence has never repeated itself. It never does a do-over. It got you right the first time. And so you have a divine destiny to express yourself. Don't compare yourself with anyone else. That's another dimension of hell. You are here to express yourself. Discover yourself first. And so, as I was saying, let go and let God. The art of letting go is letting go of that which no longer serves you. You discover that as you become mindful in your meditative practice. The art of letting go is having a joyful, voluntary surrender to the next stage of your own evolution. You're not living trying to protect your present paradigm. You're understanding that outside of this paradigm is more than you can imagine. You're yielding to it. It's all feminine. It's yielding. It's surrender. It's allowing. It's receptivity. You're not trying to make something happen. You're putting yourself in a position to make something welcome, to be available, you see. And then the miracle perspective is judge not. And there's some stuff going on that you can see with your eyes. But what does it say in the 91st Psalm? That you can see all the stuff happening in the world, but it shall not come nigh thee, if in fact you're living in the secret place of the Most High, under the shadow of the Almighty. If you're living in God consciousness, you'll see all of that stuff, but you won't judge it. You will be an avenue of prayer, an avenue of compassion, kindness, generosity, patience, and you won't speak until you're spoken through by the presence of God, you see? In other words, sometimes we just gotta be quiet. As Lee says, sometimes we live in a know-it-all culture. Everybody can't be quiet. Everybody knows everything. Shut up sometimes. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen. And then cultivate the energy behind that created the ear, which is your consciousness, and listen to that still small voice. I'm telling you, it's going to get louder. As you pay attention to it, you'll realize that all them other voices, they're not you. They're just voices that were curated out of experience, that you misinterpreted. There were other people with other agendas on you. Even our own society that tries to keep you in fear and doubt and worry, so you'll be disempowered and make all the wrong choices. Go to fast food. Do this. Right, Sean? But there's another voice. It's a voice of another kind. Ooh. Whew. The presence. You don't have to pray for it to speak to you. It's always speaking. It's always revealing itself through all creation. But are you listening? Are you listening? You have to be still and listen. And then after a while, your intuition, the inner feeling tone, that inner direction, your inner compass will be absolutely embraced by that inner voice. And you'll do things that appear to be illogical, and it'll turn out right. Remember this Zen statement, that the wrong person, and this is the way the Zen statement goes. Don't get caught up in right or wrong. Just hear the statement before you judge it. The Zen statement says the wrong person can do the right thing, but it'll turn out wrong. The right person can do the wrong thing, and it'll turn out right. Now, what they're talking about is a state of consciousness. If you have powerful intentionality, you want to connect with the presence of God, your ego is out the way, and even if you make a mistake, it seems to turn out okay. But if you are the wrong person, your intentions are good, but you're trying to do all the right things, it won't work for you. Right. That's why Mr. Magoo always got to where he was going. He's bumping around, doing all this stuff, but he always got to where he was going. He didn't know that he was making all these mistakes. So you can, if you have the right intentionality, I'm letting go, I'm letting God. You have the right intentionality. I'm here for God. I want to reflect and reveal the cosmos as only I can. You are here for God. I want to share my gifts. I want to curate and share my talents, activate my talents and gifts. I want to be of service. One day we're going to have something over the sanctuary that says servant's entrance. And that's going to be for all of us because we are here to serve love, serve the presence, serve the beauty, serve the joy. You become the right vibrational frequency. The presence of God will take your mistakes and turn them into jazz, turn them into art, turn them into beauty, turn them into so much good. And you'll know even before you start, you've already won. Because in the heart mind of the infinite, I'm going to be quiet. In the heart mind of the infinite, it's already happening. It's already happening. So, as I was saying, let go, the art of letting go. Miracle perspective, no judgment. Judgment shrinks perception. You vibrate at the level of what you're judging, even if you think you're right. Don't judge. Bless. Pray. Ask to see what is real. Then you become free, and you begin to see life differently. And then as you're called, everyone is called, many are called, and Many can answer. This is the time. There's a tipping point on the planet happening right now. It's a tipping point happening right now. The vibration is so high, you open yourself up and answer the call to the greatness that's within you, the place where you are to serve, and the Spirit of the living God will be there before you can take your next step. Before you can take your next step. Shoo! Whew. That wasn't a sneeze. That was an energy that just came out. Okay. So everyone take a deep and holy breath right here. Be aware there's only one mind in this entire cosmos. It's the mind of God. It's the divine mind. We're all an emanation of this one mind. There was a mind before the brain. The mind, when in tune with the fundamental harmony of the universe, affects the brain, affects the body. If your mind gets curated by fear and worry, use your breath. You'll find in fear your breath becomes shallow. Just stop and take a deep breath. I am willing to be free. I'm willing to be the light. Say it, I'm willing to be free. I'm willing to be the light. Take a breath. Release. I'm willing to be free. I'm willing to be the light. I let go and let love. And it's happening right now. Woo-wee! Somebody scream about that. Oh, yes. So we move into this sweet space of prayer, this sweet place. I invite you to turn within, and just for a moment, I want you to tap the space between your eyebrows and say after me, I'm willing to see without eyes. I'm willing to see the truth without eyes. I'm willing to see with my consciousness. But the presence of God is everywhere. I'm full to overflowing with divine creativity. I live in the field of all of my needs being met. I'm willing to see it. I'm willing to be it, even now. As we continue to turn within, we elevate our consciousness to the feeling tone of gratitude and thanksgiving. This is rise in gratitude together. Just open your awareness and find anything at all to be grateful for. Just be thankful. Be grateful. And in this consciousness of gratitude, there is the ability being activated within us to see differently, not with eyes, but with consciousness. That the presence is never an absence. Say this, the presence is never an absence. The presence is never an absence. The presence is never an absence. You will remember that, so you're not trying to get way out there to God. The presence. Is never an absence. It's right here. It's closer than our breathing. It's nearer than our hands and feet. It's right here. We're beginning to recognize this. recognize it, to remember it. And now we feel within of our own being, inside of our own being, it's okay to feel you're one with God. It's not blasphemy. You know what blasphemy is? Limiting God. We're not limiting God, we're magnifying the Lord. We're magnifying it. And so from this consciousness of oneness, unity, the vibrational word, the solar logos is spoken. As you've heard me say recently that this is our Genesis moment. This is our new beginning. Regardless of what has happened in the past, according to our perception of the past, this is a new moment right here. This is a new takeoff point, a new leap-off point. We're leaping into the field of gratitude and announcing that the presence of God is where we are. And the very word that I am speaking is the word of God, spoken with the authority of one knowing that all that there is God, and that everything that truly is a manifestation of the only thing that is. I speak the word for each of us, knowing that there's only one of us here, the one power, the one presence, the one love, and that as I am speaking this word is a law unto itself that only knows its own unfolding, and it's revealing itself more and more and more and more through it as us, as divine wholeness, wellness, well-being. It's revealing itself more and more and more and more as harmonizing prosperity, pure joy, even bliss and ecstasy. Happiness, not built on external things, but happiness that's absolutely activated from within our own being, from our deep and abiding connection with the presence that is never an absence. Say with me, something wonderful is happening. Something wonderful is happening. Something wonderful is happening. And it's happening through me. And it's happening through we. That's the second coming. The second coming is spiritual community, all vibrating in the one God, the one power, the one presence. When the great master said, greater things than these shall ye do, he knew that there was going to be all kinds of stuff for us to judge on this planet, and that there must be great beings and great communities rising up with the vibrational frequency of non-judgment, no fear, doubt, and worry, and see the truth and activate it and anchor it on earth, strong enough to be enjoyed during times of tumult and transformation and transition from one stage to another. That would be us. That would be here. That would be now. God is our life. We stand in this awareness. The word is spoken that we may be free. Now here's the deal. You have to feel it. You've heard the reading. You heard Jennifer Kapler. Feeling provides the healing and the revealing of the truth. It's not against the law to feel it before it happens. That's the right use of the law. You feel it. You feel it. Oh, come on, ND. Give us a little feeling tone. Give us a little feeling tone.
Oh, gather up the brokenness and bring it to me now. The fragrance of those promises you never dared to vow, the splinters that you carried, the cross you left behind, come your body. Come healing of the mind, and let the heavens hear it. The penitential hymn, come healing of the spirit, come healing of the limb, and let the heavens hear it. That penitential hymn, come healing of your spirit, come healing of the limb, come healing of your body, come healing of your mind.
That is the feeling tone. That's the feeling tone right there. The healing of your mind, and your body will follow.